What if I told you your next smartphone might get more expensive even if it's already been on the market for months? No new features, no upgrades, just a higher price tag. That's exactly what a new leak is suggesting, and if it turns out to be true, it could quietly change how we buy phones in 2026. Before we jump in, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. It really helps me keep bringing you more tech breakdowns like this one. Right now, most people accept one thing. New phones cost more every year. That's not surprising anymore. But what is surprising, and honestly a bit frustrating, is the idea that older models could suddenly become more expensive after launch. That flips the entire buying logic we're used to. This leak comes from Digital Chat Station, a well-known source for smartphone industry insights. According to the report, the top 5 Android brands in China are planning to increase prices across their lineups starting April 2026. And we're not just talking about upcoming devices. This could include phones that are already sitting on store shelves. The brands likely involved? Think OnePlus, Oppo, Honor, Vivo, and iQOO. Basically some of the biggest Android players in the Chinese market. Now here's where things get real. This isn't just speculation anymore. There's already movement. OnePlus and Oppo have already started raising prices in China. The increase ranges from about 200 to 500 yuan, which is roughly $30 to $70. Not massive on paper, but definitely noticeable, especially for mid-range buyers. And importantly, these increases didn't just hit brand new flagships. They also affected existing models, including devices that launched months ago. That's the part that feels different this time. So why is this happening? Zoom out for a second and you'll see a bigger trend. The global tech industry is under pressure, especially when it comes to components. One of the biggest issues right now is memory. With AI demand exploding, there's been a strain on RAM supply, particularly newer standards like DDR5. Even though prices stabilized slightly in March, they're still significantly higher than last year. For smartphone companies, that creates a tough choice. Either raise prices or cut costs somewhere else. And cutting costs usually means worse specs, which nobody wants. So instead, brands are leaning toward price hikes, even on devices that are already out. That brings us to the big question. Will this hit the US market? Right now, the answer is not yet. Brands like Honor, Vivo, and iQOO don't officially sell phones in the US, so their pricing changes won't directly affect American buyers. But OnePlus is a different story. So far, OnePlus hasn't raised prices for existing models in the US, but there's nothing stopping them from doing it later this year. And if they do, it could open the door for other brands to follow. Because once one company proves consumers will accept it, others usually don't stay quiet for long. And honestly, if you look at the direction things are going, it feels less like a maybe and more like a when. We've already seen flagship prices climb year after year. Budget phones aren't as cheap as they used to be, and now even older models might not be safe from price increases. That's a big shift in how the market works. Traditionally, waiting a few months after launch meant getting a better deal. Prices would drop, discounts would appear, and you'd save money. But if this trend spreads, that strategy might stop working. Waiting could actually cost you more. That's a pretty uncomfortable thought. At the same time, it's worth keeping a bit of skepticism here. This leak, while credible, doesn't include exact models or a full breakdown of changes. And the timing, right around April 1st, has made some people question whether it's real or just an elaborate joke. But here's the thing. The early price hikes from OnePlus and Oppo suggest there's at least some truth behind it. This isn't coming out of nowhere. So even if the full scale isn't confirmed yet, the direction is pretty clear. Smartphones are getting more expensive, not just when they launch, but potentially after they launch too. And if that becomes the norm, it changes how you should think about buying your next phone. Waiting might not save you money anymore. In fact, acting early could become the smarter move. That's a big shift, and if this trend spreads globally, 2026 could be the year the smartphone pricing playbook gets completely rewritten. What's your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section. See you in the next video. Take care.